Chapter 7 Home with God. All souls find peace after their death. Not all souls find peace before it. That's a wonderful and comprehensive explanation of what is really going on in this experience we call life. And we are nowhere near finished. The deepest mysteries of death are soon to be unveiled. This conversation has really only just begun to touch the surface. Let us now examine your last question more deeply. You have asked if the shortest path is not the best path back home. The answer is not necessarily. The path that brings you the most benefit is the path that brings you to completion, however long that takes. The moment of absolute awareness, that is, of knowing and experiencing and feeling completely who you really are, is arrived at in steps or stages. Each passage through a lifetime can be considered one of those steps. No soul arrives at absolute awareness in one lifetime. It is the cumulative effect of many passages through the life cycle that produces what might be called complete completion or absolute awareness. Each passage is ended when the agenda or the mission of that particular passage has been completed. This life ends when you have completed what you came here to the physical world to experience this time. You then add what you completed here to what you completed on other journeys through time until you ultimately have it all together and absolute awareness has been achieved. So there are two levels of completion. Level 1 is when you complete a step in the overall process. Level 2 is when you complete the overall process itself. Yes. And the overall process is complete when who you are has been fully known, fully experienced, and fully felt. This is a magnificent explanation, and I get it. There are specific things that souls come to earth to accomplish, to experience. Some souls may take longer to accomplish it. When they are complete, it is a time for us to rejoice, for their work here is done. You do get it. That's great. That is exactly right. And shorter is not necessarily better. Being complete is the objective, not being fast. Correct. Terrific. Now I can feel good about myself again, because I don't think I've accomplished yet, and I'm into my 6th decade, what I came here to accomplish. And what is that? I'm not sure. That would make it very difficult to accomplish. I know, that's part of my problem. Perhaps we should talk about that. I'm sure I would benefit from talking about that, but For now I really don't want to be distracted here. You were saying that even though they may not necessarily be better, some paths back home are less arduous than others. I'm intrigued by that. It is easier to take a path that has few obstacles. Agreed. So how do I find one? You don't find out. You create one. How? You're doing it now. By committing to even taking the path, you make things easier. Many people are walking through their life having no thought of being on the path. They have not studied. They have not prayed. They have not meditated. They have not paid any attention at all to their inner life, nor seriously explored larger realities. You are doing that now. By virtue of the fact that you are undertaking the explorations that you are undertaking right here, that you are having this very conversation. You are creating a path with fewer obstacles. What I am saying here is that whether you take a winding path or a straight one, go through the woods or walk past them, when you get to your truth about life and living and death and dying, you will have cleared the obstacles and created a less arduous path to completion. Once you know about death fully, you can live your life fully. Then you can experience yourself fully, which is exactly what you came here to do. And then you can die gracefully and gratefully, knowing consciously that you are complete. That is a far less arduous path and creates a very peaceful death. Something about this sounds like a judgment to me, almost like an imperative. If you haven't died well and you haven't done it right, that sort of thing, you're making a judgment that I would never make. There is no way to die wrong, and there is no way not to get to your destination, which is blissful reunion with the divine at the core of your being. There is no way not to be home with God. We are talking here about how to make your life and your death less arduous, more peaceful. The statement to which you refer is an observation, not a judgment. If you easily move to completion with what you came to your body to experience, and thus die gracefully and gratefully, you have found peace before your death rather than after it. All souls find peace after their death. Not all souls find peace before it. When you die, it is impossible to not be complete. But it is possible to not be consciously aware of it. Peace is being consciously aware that you are complete, that there is nothing more for you to do, that you are done, finished, and can go home. If you approach death in fear and trepidation, agitated and trembling, not wanting to let go, not feeling finished, or feeling afraid of what is now going on in your life, or of what is to come, you too will get to your destination. You cannot fail to arrive there. But it will be more arduous, is that it? That's it. Let us make one thing clear here again. You are always immersed in the divine. You are immersed in it right now. Indeed, you are it. You are divinity, immersed in divinity, expressing itself as the individuated aspect of a divinity known as you. Therefore, in the truest sense, you are not on a journey home. You are already there. You are home with God always. You already are where you would seek to be. The extraordinary secret is that knowing this immediately brings you the experience of it. Right now it feels as though we're going around in circles here. In this conversation, I mean, it feels as if I'm sleepwalking and I don't know where I am. Not just in this conversation, but in your life. When you live, or when you die, for that matter, in fear and trepidation, agitated and trembling, not wanting to let go, afraid of what is now in your life, or what is to come, you are demonstrating that you do not know where you are. And the problem with this is that what you demonstrate, you experience. Ever it has been, ever it shall be. Therefore you will not experience that you are united with the divine. You will not experience that you are home with God, even though you are. Believe it or not, I'm trying to understand. You're moving very fast, and this is very complex, as I knew it would be. But I am trying to understand. Good. Keep up with me then. Keep tracking. You already know all of this. I am merely reminding you. You are not on a journey to the divine, but you are in the midst of an eternal process in which you experience more and more of divinity as you move through it. You are experiencing more and more of the core of your being, more and more of the essence of who you are as life continues. You are eternally merging with that essence, and as part of the process of life, emerging from it again as a replenished expression of it. This process that we might call energy merging is the formula for all of life. It can be written as E plus merging. That is why this event is sometimes called a spiritual emergency. This is what death and dying is all about. Death is an emergency because it is not about dying at all. It is about merging and emerging. Do you mean that I not only go into total union with the divine, but come out of it? Yes. Are we talking here about reincarnation? In a manner of speaking. Here we go again. I think It is important to understand that none of this is reducible to one sentence or one word. Still, if you'll have some patience, I think you will find that none of it is beyond your comprehension. All I want is to get to the truth about death and dying. I want to know the God's truth. You think God is separate from you, don't you? I don't really think that. I know that God and I, that you and I are one. Do you really? I do. I know there's no separation between you and me. I know that I am an individuation of divinity. Then why do you talk the way you talk? Why do you say that you want to know God's truth? You must know that God's truth lies within you. God's truth was a figure of speech. Ah, so what you are hoping to find really is your truth. I am hoping to use this conversation, this prayer, as a means of leading me back to the answer, the truth, which lies deep within me. Yes? Good. This experience can lead you to that path, but you must place yourself on it. As I have said now repeatedly, I can show you the way home, but you must take the way home. I have said that in the truest sense you are not on a journey. You already are where you want to go. But since you do not know this, your experience is that you are on a journey. So, you must make the journey to find out that the journey is not necessary. You must embark on the path to find out that the path begins and ends right where you are.